If your God commanded you to slaughter innocent women and children, would you do it? This one single question is going to put an end to the Christian apologist scene for good. We've all seen these slimy Christian apologists who we all pretty much know work for Israel, and we all know they've been playing a rigged game for years. This one single question not only breaks their entire system, but it also completely severs their ties to their audience. I'll show you how to prepare for their answers and deconstruct every single one to put them in an impossible moral trap. And honestly, this is so effective, it's really the only thing that we should be asking Christians right now. Now, before we get to this playbook, we first need to understand how Christians operate, otherwise none of this works. And all the Dawah guys out there, may Allah bless you with the highest levels of Jannah. You guys are doing an amazing job. No shade at all. I just want to offer a little bit of my own perspective as an ex-Christian who really understands how these people tick and operate. And to really connect with them, it's going to require a fundamental shift in how we approach them. It really breaks down to the emotional versus logical brain. We know Christians don't operate on logic quite like we do, and unfortunately we always fight that. But instead, we should really honor that and work with it. Christians respond to things like being a good person, being humble, being nice, don't use bad words, all that sweet fuzzy stuff. It's also really important to know that they're literally taught to follow emotional resonance and personal conviction over just purely logical frameworks and facts. Now, we can say whatever we want about that approach or strategy, but we don't have to fight it. Alhamdulillah, Islam also has emotional arguments on our side. We just hardly ever use them. And the wonderful part is their emotional arguments that they use against us are built on lies. Every emotional argument that we have is based on facts. Instead of fighting their emotions with logic, fight their emotions with a higher standard of emotions. It's also really important to understand that arrogance goes nowhere in these conversations, even if you're right. Acting arrogant or laughing at people during debates, being dismissive, none of that is going to land with them, no matter what the content is.
What's right?
This type of behavior that we've seen recently in the Dawah scene, in my opinion, is unacceptable. And I know I'm just some weird revert, but I'm saying this because I see the reaction from the other side because I am so close to these people. I think we can do better because this type of behavior truly just feeds into their emotional perception of us being the baddie. So the Christian layman mindset, we have to meet them a little bit closer to where they are rather than just pull them, expect them to come all the way to our side and listen to everything. But when it comes to the Christian apologists, this is totally different. We need to entirely stop playing their game and we need to 100% play our game. All these bad faith slime balls leading their movement, Wood, Dog Logic, Samoon, they all know they don't need facts. So when they go into arguments knowing that, they're at a huge advantage when we go in thinking all we need is facts. They know that all they need to do is make their audience feel good to keep them coming back. So our job is to make their audience feel bad for listening to them, not disprove them. It's a huge fundamental shift in how we think about these debates. Their game is designed to turn us into fuel for their machine that gets them more money, more clout, more clicks, all that stuff. They aren't actually trying to prove us wrong. They're just trying to rage bait us. So when we go into their argument and they don't seemingly respond to our facts, that's literally the whole strategy. So why even play that game at all? Trying to be right just puts us at a disadvantage from the get-go. The argument that we need to start every single debate with is without question the Amalek argument. When it comes to Christians specifically, atheists, other people, maybe not, but I'm talking directly to Christians and about Christians with this. It's truly our best card to play because it hits them on an emotional level while also forcing them to confront a reality about their Bible that our life in Islam is factually 100% superior. And I know there's other arguments that are great to use, emotional arguments, right? Things like SA, there's all sorts of nasty stuff in the Bible. The difference in why Amalek is so good is because there's plenty of examples that we can use in real time as rebuttals for one of the answers that they love to use. Just simply ask this question. Do you accept that God could ever command killing innocent women and children? Even the plants? Bro, the plants? And instead of responding to any of their arguments with facts and logic and textual criticism, we just flip it back around and bring this argument right back to them. So if they ask about the Islamic dilemma, then we just flip it back around and then bring this into the fold. And then you just say this: our Jesus would never command such evil in the Bible. We would never accept something like that. And in fact, the Muslim rules of engagement are almost in 100% direct opposition to this. Or yours says to kill women and children and plants. Ours specifically says to not kill women, children, and plants, and only focus on people who are fighting us. It's much more righteous. And then you can even just ask them, which one sounds like a teaching that would be more from Jesus that we all know and love, the Prince of Peace, love, and mercy? Just ask them, see what they say. A lot of them are going to have a really hard time answering this question. But your goal isn't to convert them right here either. You need to have grace, you need to have mercy, and what we're doing is we're just planting a seed. We know how Islam is. Seeds grow over time. We don't want to endgame them, come at them with the jugular like, we're right. No, we need to have grace, and we need to fully understand that all we're doing here is planting seeds, not converting them. It's up to them to seek the truth and Allah to fully pull the trigger. We're just doing what we can. Then we just shrug it off very quickly and say, look, your premise that the Quran confirms the Bible is a total fallacy, because it actually 100% contradicts a lot of the teachings that are in the Bible, specifically the evil teachings that even you guys have a hard time justifying. And so then you just go right back to it. So do you justify this? Do you justify the genocide of innocent women, children, and even the animals? If your God said to do that, would you do it? Or maybe the devil playing tricks on you? So you see, I didn't get stuck bringing up textual criticism or evidence or this or that. I literally, you don't need any of that. You just need to quickly flip it back on their head, say, no. Our Jesus would never command genocide like your version of Jesus does. Like, what are you talking about? You actually believe in a version of Jesus that would do this? Like, really? Almost act surprised. What happens here is we create a real-time litmus test for the audience as well. They can see who is following blind faith to the point of depravity and who is trying to follow God and represent a true righteous image of God and upholding that. And speaking of blind faith, why is everybody putting a bunch of faith into the electrolyte industry, which all of a sudden is telling us that we need like mega doses of salts and minerals and all this crazy stuff? And thanks to them pushing this, you can actually see that there are electrolyte overdoses on the rise. That's why I made Zimzam. It's actually a super clean, balanced, 100% natural electrolyte blend that mirrors the top 7 minerals inside Zimzam water. It's so interesting. The supplement industry is spending millions of dollars to find the perfect blend, but God has already given us his natural blend of electrolyte solution at Mecca. Zimzam is a beautiful mix of calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, all the common electrolytes that people think Gatorade invented. They're essentially just copying Zimzam water. And of course, if you can't get Zimzam water, the best thing you can do is make your own solution. If you go to zimzamlabs.com, you can actually see how to make it yourself. And it's so good and it's so natural that it actually adds a great flavor to the water. In a blind taste test that we did, people preferred our blend 2-to-1 over bottled water. When you have a good natural blend, you don't need to add all of these flavors or anything. So if you go to zimzamlabs.com, we're fully transparent about the ratios and the blend. You can make everything on your own, or if you don't want to deal with that, we have packets that we'd love to send to you as well. If you're interested, you can use code HAQQ, H-A-Q-Q, for 10% off your order. We appreciate your support. Every purchase allows us to keep this channel going and spread the word about Islam. Back to the Christian dilemma. Let's go over the responses. They really only have 2. And both of them, if you're prepared, puts them at a huge moral dilemma. The first answer, and I'm actually surprised that people do this, but they actually do. They like dig their toes in and they're like, yes, God would command genocide. Like, okay, bud, that's answer 1. Answer 2 is they say something along the lines of Jesus came to correct that, and that is no longer a law. That's no longer acceptable. Our responses are calculated and simple no matter what their answer is. Number 1 is honestly a total gotcha moment. If they do this, then we have already won the argument and you are going to pull a lot of people away from this person. If they say that they believe God would do this, just let them. Just let them dig their own grave and basically just draw a line and say, okay, we don't believe in that. Like, you can have that. Our perspective in Islam is that God would never command something like that, and the books were edited to turn people into tools of evil. And it's so effective when you do this early in the talk, because anytime they start to slander Islam, you can just go like, okay, remember guys, this is someone who thinks it's okay to genocide women and children. Well, we say it's not. That simple, right? Like, and they lose it every time you do this. Like, oh my goodness, right? But like, hey, like when they choose to plant their flag, unfortunately, this is what they're doing. We need to make it uncomfortable for their own good. If they answer 2, first of all, this is almost like one where we don't even really want to fight them. In my opinion, it's almost good to agree with them and honestly honor their good heart, because, and even contrast it with like the bad guys. Like, you know what? I think this is actually the proper answer, right? Like, believe it or not, there's people who justify this and think that it's actually good. The fact that you don't is a sign that you have a good heart and you are what we would call as Muslims like a righteous person of the book. But then you just need to ask them really like, okay, and then just look them in the eye and say, look, okay, so if Jesus came to outlaw this and change it, why is it still in your holy book? Do you understand that this is still being used to this very day by colonizers all over the world to go harm, kill innocents, and steal their land? Obviously, we have Israel doing it, but it's still happening here in the United States. Have you heard of that John MacArthur speech where he called the United States the minister of God and said that we had the power to enact God's divine judgment on transgressors like the Amalekites? Like this is going on, and it's still very, very real. And then just look them in the eye. So if you don't agree with this, if you don't think this is for this time, why is it still in a holy book at all that you and I both know that people are going to look to for divine guidance? Then they're going to say, oh, well, those people are wrong. Every religion has bad people, like blah, 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 right? Like the typical answers, right? That's great. That's all of a more of a reason for this not to be here. Like, if it's wrong, why is it here? Like, they can't argue this. They really can't. That everything that they do is going to be jumping through hoops. And of course, if you can catch people doing this with an audience, everyone is going to see what's going on. This is it. If Jesus came to fix it, why keep it in here? Allow your people to be misled and allow your religion to be slandered for the rest of eternity. If you don't agree with this, why is this here? Like, genuinely, is this a good idea to keep in here if you don't agree with it, if you think it's outdated, if you think it's going to mislead? There's another question that you could ask them as well in reference to the Talmud. Right? We tell them, did you know that the Talmud says that Jews should kill all Gentiles? But then you have to tell them it's debated, right? And I have to say this is debated. All of you people who are like, oh, it says this, right? We need to understand it's debated, right? But the issue is it's debated. Same thing, right? So you ask them, did you know that the Talmud says that the Jews can kill all Gentiles? And of course, not every rabbi believes this, and it's debated. But unfortunately, you have plenty of Jews who still use this to go whatever, enact whatever they want and kill Gentiles because it's debated. So ask yourself, is it a good idea for any holy book that has debated depraved teachings to keep those depraved teachings in there, or if they're outdated? Or should the religion evolve to get rid of all of those things? Because that's what Islam offers. And when you do this, you always have to basically be like, Islam is the answer. Is like, right? You don't just let them go off into the fray. You always have to end it with like, yes, Islam provides all of these solutions, and that's the exact reason why they condition you to hate it. You can also say stuff like, my position here is really simple. If a God ever commanded me and my team to go slaughter innocent women and children, I'd join the other team. Like that's how confident I am that no God could command that. And like, really, if you think about it, the only person who could really command something like that would be the devil. The objective really is to get the people who have soft hearts and start to get them to draw the line in the sand between the people that have the hard black hearts in Christianity. I'd like to think that Christians are good people. And if you can actually show them the repercussions of this in real time and that it's not some archaic thing that died out a long time ago, I'd like to believe that something will flip inside most of their hearts. And I've seen it when they are confronted with this brutal reality, like, and actually have to sit with it. I think most of them, something is going to click and change in their heart. And really, if you can get the speaker to admit in real time, which like they will, some of these guys, like we should be prepared to fully just endgame them. Like that's if they actually believe that, it's absolutely outrageous. And so remember, guys, we don't want to criticize everybody. There are some really, really good Christians there, and the only way we'll ever get them on our side is by honoring them, not using the bad ones to paint a bad picture about these good ones. It's almost like we need to draw the line in the sand for them. It's like, yo, like, I know you're not those guys, right? Like, essentially, you got to do the same thing that they do with us. They're like, oh, well, the radical Muslims. It's like, bro, like, you don't understand. Do you understand how many radical Christians there are, like, in the United States? Like, come on now. But you basically have to basically get them to just to walk through that path, to do the same thing that they've been conditioned with Islam, to now understand to do that with Christians. And it's hard, but and that's why you can't just like fully attack them. You have to ask questions. It's not like you're wrong, right? Throughout this, it's a lot of asking questions and just being prepared for whatever answer they give. And at the end of the day, these arguments are going to land so much better than these, like, is the Trinity versus Tawheed argument good? Like, of course we know, and like, I hate to even belittle those arguments, because like, we win those arguments, we should win those arguments every time. The issue is that's just not the type of stuff that they respond to. And honestly, we should get a little mastermind going. We should try to figure out how to spin every single argument that they bring at us, right? It's really easy with the Islamic dilemma. They love that one. They're going to do that one all the time. We should all be prepared for that one. But you seasoned debate vets, we should honestly be trying to really just figure out how to spin every single argument that they give right back onto Amalek. Just flip it right back on their head. It's almost like we need to make it publicly known, right? Like right now, the public perceives the Muslims as the bad guys, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. We need to make it the other way around. Instead of dancing around these topics that just aren't very effective, we need to go straight to the best one that we have. And we need to literally make it known that Christians stand for genocide. Whether or not they want to debate my version doesn't, or I don't, it doesn't matter. The fact is, Christians to this day do believe that their God could command genocide, and they'll follow it if they do. Like, that's a big red flag. And if we can get people thinking that about Christianity, and Islam is the counter to that, Islam is saying, no, that's wrong. We believe in a much more holy version. That's when we start making change. It's on an emotional level. They're not going to look up any of this stuff. Like, they're not going to go and dig through holy text to find this. All they need is that emotional tick. So next time you see one of these Christian apologists attacking us online, don't get angry. Just get tactical. Now, if you like these types of videos, please hit follow. I've got a ton of stuff that I have planned for this channel. This is my first video. I got a lot of other stuff. I got this really cool series that I go over that's called God Doesn't Rebrand, where I go over all the Old Testament stuff where they basically edited Allah's name out of the Bible. Like you can actually see a direct through line. So inshallah, I'll be able to make those. Would love for your support on Zimzam. Remember, go check it out. Remember to use code HAWK, HAQQ for 10% off, or just go learn how to make your own Zimzam mineral electrolyte solution. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, assalamu alaikum.